Another beautiful day, another beautiful moment.
Yeah, we can take a moment and become really present and release everything else. Release our morning, release yesterday, release our own self. And just be open to what is. Let go of any tension. And drop even deeper. There is no request to demand in the present moment. Just a pure invitation to rest your thoughts. And if you notice anything that is particularly tense or defensive, just allow the light in even more. You can sink into the lesson of today. My heart is beating in the peace of God. Surrounding me is all the life that God created in His love. It calls to me in every heartbeat and in every breath, in every action and in every thought. Peace fills my heart and floods my body with the purpose of forgiveness. Now my mind is healed, and all I need to save the world is given me. Each heartbeat brings me peace. Each breath infuses me with strength. Our heart beats in the peace of God. I'd say we never have to worry about anything. You know how often your heart beats. Actually, I don't really know. 50 times a minute or something. That's a lot, you know. You could say it's all the time. So how could we worry? Why need to worry, and why would we strive or compete with God? You know, we would try to compete with God if we make our own plans and get stirred up about things. But if our heart beats in the peace of God, it's a very restful place, very powerful, loving experience. We can allow, drop anything that feels painful or difficult. And ask Spirit to come in with lots of healing. We can question what we have concluded about ourselves or others. We can keep coming back to this. My heart is beating in the peace of God whenever we find our minds wandering, our thoughts concluding something. I think the deceived mind, its default state is a state of worry, the state of control, the state of thinking something is wrong and it needs to be fixed or changed. And the body is the fearful construction, fearful construct of this feeling. That's why we need to do this inner work. It feels like a little bit of work, a little bit of efforting, change our minds, change the purpose for striving, purpose for the body. Because the true default isn't striving or anything that improves the body or fixes the future. The real purpose is this resting in the peace of God. Remembering, allowing this. And if there are certain things, certain experiences that bring up fear or control, this pattern especially, these patterns can be questioned. Sometimes we're blind to the patterns. It's a certain situation that brings up fear or tension over and over again. Same type of situation. You know, let's not buy into it. Let's bring in God. Let's question. At those very moments, that's when we need the prayer. We've lived long enough to recognize some of those patterns, I would say. Yeah, we can open up for sharing. Anybody would like to bring up something? Vanessa?
I feel some heaviness, especially in my stomach. It's like I can see in my mind, I want this feeling of, I want the peace, but there are many thoughts like trying to, I'm having some future thought or is something wrong, something bad's gonna happen with Jonas, like because I'm not there and I feel really bad about these thoughts, like Anytime he can just send me a message or say, oh, this, oh, his pattern, I have his pattern in my mind, like he's gonna say this, he's gonna say this is not working. I'm trying to understand what is that, because something that doesn't make me feel good about. It seems like I'm important in someone's life when,
Yeah, and in a way you are. I mean, you have an assignment together, and sometimes even these feelings can be like a prompt or a guidance to have a call and communicate clearly. Like it feels like in a way you know each other's ego. You know how the ego pattern works. So perhaps, and I've heard you sometimes in relationship that you speak up, you get through with something very helpful. And I have a sense that maybe this is something like that, And at the same time, you don't want to be preoccupied with worrying, thinking about him, So it's also at the same time a practice to releasing him, handing over those thoughts and worries.
But now it just seems like it's more fear of this habit, like he should have sent me a message, but he didn't send yet. Long time, just this uncomfortable feelings, like.
No, he's probably in the air, flying at the moment.
Yeah. He's in the flight. It's quite, it's so weird. Like that's why I think, this thought is quite weird. Yeah. But thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, you're in a deep assignment, and I think you have this feeling, this sense, communicating something, something that is going to be helpful. Thank you. Åsa, good to see you again.
Yeah, so good to see you guys too. I felt like I really could drop and relax when you guided us now. It was amazing, actually. I didn't even know where I was, and I was holding a cup in my hand, and that also went away. So I was very beautiful, and that's what I would like to have more of again in my life. Well, lately I have old patterns of I'm not so glad, I'm not so happy, something is a little bit wrong. I want to come back to where I was before. Yeah, sense of lost, bored. Yeah, it's all mixtures. And I can see it from the outside kind of, and I also share with we share very openly with my daughter. I think the core thing that is that I judge myself for not having a life, or I judge myself for being wrong or a failure, or it's something like that. Because you could say that all areas of my life are not working.
Yeah. I mean, I know you want life. From the beginning, when you start talking, I felt this. Yeah, you just want life. It's different than life in the world.
Yeah.
So if the life in the world is upside down, it doesn't work out. that's all you need is this true life, come to life.
No, exactly. I think it's one of the first times in my life, actually, you know, when I have this thought about myself that it's, am I depressed? You know, this sense of, I don't know, this is just, yeah, some sort of, where's the way out, you know? Not thinking about taking my life, not to that extent, but to feel that kind of feeling that, no, I know there's a completely different way to live, and it's not feeling like this, you know? And this is the one, this is where I want to come back and find it again.
That feels good. I mean, it takes a lot, you know, to be dedicated to awakening. Like it's almost like it needs to be the one and only focus, you know, unless we're gonna fall back into depression or feeling lost or bored or depressed. Yeah, we've been missing you for a while.
Yeah, I've been missing myself too. I feel lately that the last week that no, I need more help. I need to ask the universe for more help, because this is not what I want. So, yeah, and I felt when you shared that he put your hand on your navel, I felt like I was getting sad when you said it.
Yeah. So that may be something in you too that didn't want to be born. And the good news, you know, who we are, wasn't born. But yeah, it's okay to take a look at this sadness of the world, the sadness of striving. So I think that is, you know, there comes this point we kind of need each other. We kind of need the mighty companionship.
Yeah. So anything else that I could do to I mean, I hear my thoughts, you know, once I start to do or go about, and then I hear it, and sometimes I can just look at this and just go, you know, like I compare myself, for example, you know, one thing.
Yeah, it's good to see those unhelpful ego thoughts and patterns.
Yeah. Perfect recipe for unhappiness.
Yeah. And I feel the answer is guidance. It's more and more ask for guidance and then follow guidance, and to feel purpose, to be, you know, to do, to extend. And we have collaboration teams that work on projects for healing, you know, projects for that helps the mind stay clear. And yeah, if you want a project to join, you know, in purpose. Just, yeah.
Thank you for Just being. I love it.
Yeah. Give you a big hug.
Yeah, it's really good to have you here. Just raising your hand. We can go to you next, Passion.
It's time to talk because everything is shaking inside me. It was really helpful to be out yesterday. And I just had this wave of just glimpses of freedom that is possible. And I don't know what it means. Just this expansive feeling of, yeah, freedom. And then seeing how this pattern of the mind of trying to work out and work out the plan and put it into form and worrying about how it's going to work out and what's the next step. And I know this is blocking it. I know this is blocking the true guidance because I'm still trying to work it out myself. Yeah. And just seeing how the mind is trying to attach itself like desperately to something. And there's this fear, like I'm having all this love coming up for the dog and for you, Jenny. And it's just this fear of losing it again. Because there is so much fear of losing it, it's just like I cannot allow it, I cannot fully allow it.
Yeah. And I want to support even that, the healing of that, such fear of loss, that core trauma of losing what you love, or losing what you need. But this time, I don't see it happening. And this is maybe more the voice of the spirit than my voice, but I won't leave you.
I always want.
I won't leave you.
Yeah, and this freedom is just, the dog is just reflecting it so beautifully, because we went for a walk today and I just let him loose, you know. And I was just curious to see what's going to happen, but it just felt so right. So I let him, and he was just jumping out of joy. He actually jumped, you know, and he's back jumping, and he was just looking at me and just like, come on, you know, this kind of, I don't know, he makes this funny move, which is just like showing me, come on, and he's just running in front of me and looking after whether I'm I'm slower than him, much slower than him, even though he's 16. And he just looks at me and says, come on, let's go. And then he's just trotting along. And then at the bend, there's a bend of the road, and he just stops and waits for me and until I, catch up with him. And even him shitting in the middle of the road doesn't disturb the joy.
Or in the middle of the beach.
Or the beach, exactly.
Do you tilt the screen, Matthew, so that we see the dog if he's laying there?
He's just there.
Oh, there he is. You see his.
Behind you.
Hey.
He kind of goes where he needs to go because Laurie was quite upset, and I just feel like, yeah, he just wants to be where he needs to be. I think he's starting to find out his purpose as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just this sense of freedom, but there's just so much enmeshment of my self-concept, around where I work and what I do and how I work, and yeah,
Mhm.
and it feels like impossible to get unwound from it. But I know it's me trying to control it. Yeah. And again, just trying to, getting attached to all sorts of ideas of how it may look like, and yeah, what you were saying about trying to, making conclusions. And I don't want to make conclusions. I just know that I need to be in the experience of it. Like yesterday, it was so clear to me. Yeah. Staying on purpose. So, purposeful work when we're talking about maybe writing a book about trauma, or, even this project in South Africa.
Yeah.
And really having a sense of, and I don't know whether that's ego or spirit, but that's what I'm sensing, that actually moving for me is helpful. Being one is not helpful for me. It just feels like getting stuck.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I've been guided to do myself, for all these years since 2006, moving around, changing places, almost like every year, or sometimes even more than once a year. I have moved to different locations, different countries since then, and that has been part of the healing. It's like letting go. It's like finding what home is instead of seeking a home in the world, so it's been very helpful, and I can see that for you too. Moving is helpful, changing places, but also to look at if there is a running away kind of moving, then that's a different thing. Then there is something to look at. There's maybe that fear of loss is part of wanting to move, like one woman who was here was a bit like, some people get in relationships I'm going to break up before you break up with me, you know, like that kind of thing. But that's fear-based. So, yeah. But yeah, don't have to analyze it, you know.
No, but it's a very, I can see it is a very fine line for me. Because there is another extreme of the same spectrum, which is I'm so afraid of losing that I'm going to hang on to it for too long. Like, you know, this living situation in England,
Mm-hmm.
it's out of fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Now you know yourself. Now you know the patterns, and I could hear when you spoke about it yesterday that it's so clear in you that it is done. It's maximized, finished. I think to release her, release your roommate, you know, keep handing her over instead of wanting to keep engaging, you know. I think, yeah, we can talk about that too. 'Cause, yeah, there could be some self-concept, like the helper or can be part of that sometimes.
Yeah, I can see it.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, well, thanks for exploring, really, and for sharing your mind and your heart. Beautiful. Mm.
Lena?
Yeah, first of all, I feel upset about the dogs I've been seeing on the pictures on Facebook. Since I was told we can't have any dogs here.
That's not what we said, actually.
Well, there, where she lives.
And I asked if, yeah, it is. And, you know, I've seen at least 2 dogs during the retreat. And
There were 2 dogs here in the retreat, and one stayed.
yeah,
One dog and one human has stayed on.
no told me you can't have dogs there. So
No, we have not said
We
that.
did not say that.
Our previous house, we couldn't have dogs. In this house, we can have dogs. And whenever it's kind
I put the question out again because I told you.
we have to address this with you, Lena. You're a little bit deceiving here. And this, I think, is the victimhood in you. Because you couldn't even have a dog there in your apartment. So you couldn't say yes to that dog coming back to you. And then you wanted to test us if you could have the dog here. And we said no, because we heard the Holy Spirit said no. It was the guidance. That's all. It's not, you don't have to take anything personally. It's just guidance. And then you said you couldn't even have a dog there. So it was a little deceiving there in your way. And I think it's important for you to see this. There's a great big victim belief to take a look at. And we'd love for you to be here and join with the dog that is here, you know, and maybe you will, maybe you can, but take a real good look at the victim there in your mind, in your consciousness, because you're gonna keep playing it out, and you're gonna keep feeling, you know, victimized and unfairly treated, you know. And this is an important, very important to heal this. And you can rejoice with the dog that's here, you know. You can allow the joy of that, and it's all about the Holy Spirit's guidance.
Yeah, I'm not coming.
But
I'm not coming.
you're not coming here.
No.
Do you want to say more about that? And where does that come from right now? What are your feelings?
I'm in an awful lot of pain. I can barely move.
Hmm.
I still can't eat.
Hmm.
I've gone through all these surgeries for no reason. I don't want to leave my daughters.
Hmm.
And I don't feel inspired or pulled or any joy with going to Spain
Hmm.
at all.
Yeah. I can read something to you. Just this line, swear not to die, you holy Son of God.
Yeah, yesterday I was looking up clinics in Switzerland which supports assisted suicide. So that's funny that you bring that up. That's how I feel.
But you just said you don't want to leave your daughters. So this death belief is in their mind to release, and I think it is strong. And men have died upon seeing that all the roadways of the world lead to death. But if they but took another step, that would lead them to heights of happiness.
Yeah, I've been doing that. I took steps to other communities. I took steps 2 times. I took so many steps.
Yeah,
and
you took it.
It's all getting worse. It's just getting worse, everything.
So, you took the step to be with us in Sweden in the retreat in Gotland.
I took that step, yeah.
Yeah, and that was a very healing experience. You were expanding greatly. It was beautiful. And I think that was definitely in the direction of life, of swear not to die, taking another step, So keep going. That's what I'm hearing. Keep going. You're very loved. You're very, very loved. We still love you. And I think you're doing a little bit of a breakup, and it's up to you, but you don't have to.
So you're saying the next step would be to come to Spain?
I think that's always been, the idea since we started talking.
Yeah, but I'm in the same place where we started, not having any food when I come there, and all these practical things that made me want to do the surgeries first. I'm in the same place with all of that.
Yeah. Maybe we have another call and explore that.
And also I can't really move much. I'm in so much pain, so there's no way I could go anywhere.
And maybe we explore that too.
Yeah, it can be good practice to see what is the thought. The moment before you feel the pain, or the moment when you feel the pain.
The moment I had chronic pain, as soon as I move my head, I have this flesh, I think. It's painful to swallow. Try to swallow, it's painful. I can't move my head up. I can't move my head to the sides unless it just hurts. I can't lay in bed. It's really painful.
Yeah, I hear that, and I feel compassion. I feel it sounds really hard for you. And I still think it can be helpful to see what the thoughts are. If the pain is that constant, it's probably almost constant. fearful thoughts.
Keep getting this image of like your process of healing. It sort of applies to a lot of people, but it's almost like if you can think of your energy as like a little ball of light. And say before you came to Sweden for the retreat, before the Sweden retreat, it was like that ball was held in by like all these different dark layers. And in the retreat, you actually cleared what was holding this in. And what happens is the light wants to expand. It's like it expands to the next layer. And the next layer might feel really intense. So it's not like you've actually gone backwards. You've taken some big steps, but now you're hitting the next pieces. And these next pieces, they sound really hard.
I don't know what they are.
Well, I mean, the pain that you're going through, the difficulties with the surgery, the emotions that you're feeling, that's what they are. So it's here for you. And it's not beyond what what Holy Spirit can assist you with.
Well, you know, it's interesting because you put all the surgeries, I put Jesus in charge of them, of everything, every day, every moment. When I'm in the hospital, when I go up in the morning, and you know, this is what happens. How do you trust? How do you trust Jesus?
Maybe you're not off track.
Sorry?
Maybe you're not off track.
Yeah. If you pray to Jesus for the healing of your mind, for awakening, for the healing of your consciousness, don't judge what it looks like right now. And you put him in charge of the surgeries.
Oh my God. Yeah.
On Jenny's journey, there was a time where she prayed for whatever darkness was in her mind to show up and so it could be healed.
Yeah, I've been doing that.
And it led to the darkest and most painful time of her life.
Yeah.
But that wasn't off track.
And I think, yeah, you have a pattern of, life let me down. And I think you can look at that pattern, that conclusion. Life is hell, it's let me down. It's very sad feeling, a sad experience. I love you. You're so in my heart. Yeah, so the whole context of this is from chapter 29, Forgiveness and the End of Time. 29, part 6. He actually starts by saying, how willing are you to forgive your brother? How much do you desire peace instead of endless strife and misery and pain? These questions are the same in different form. So how much do you desire peace instead of endless strife, misery and pain? So he's saying strife, misery and pain are the same in different form. Forgiveness is your peace, for herein lies the end of separation and the dream of danger and destruction, sin and death, of madness and of murder, grief and loss. This is the quote, sacrifice salvation asks, and gladly offers peace instead of this. Salvation asks that we sacrifice the separation, the dream of danger and destruction, sin and death. We sacrifice madness and murder and grief and loss. This is the invitation. This is how we get off time. We get out of time, forgiveness and the end of time. Time is all of those things. Grief, strife, pain, madness, murder, death, destruction. And he's saying you can sacrifice those things. Don't sacrifice me, you know. Don't. That's what Spirit says. That's what God says. And swear not to die, you holy Son of God. Exclamation point. You make a bargain that you cannot keep. The Son of God, the Son of Life cannot be killed. He is immortal as his Father. What he is cannot be changed. He's the only thing in all the universe that must be one. What seems eternal, all will have an end. The stars will disappear, and night and day will be no more. All things that come and go, the tides, the seasons, and the lives of men, all things that change with time and bloom and fade will not return. Where time has set an end is not where the eternal is. So we don't have to kind of ponder how this all is going to end, you know. It actually ends in the present moment. You don't have to think of it as a future freedom. Like Basha was sharing, she felt like whispers of freedom, you know, like, reminders of freedom. Time waits upon forgiveness, that the things of time may disappear because they have no use. And nothing is impossible for God. This is a biblical saying, but it's more than that. It's the truth. And healing is not just not impossible, it's inevitable.
Completely inevitable.
Yeah. Okay, Solveig. Oh, did you have something more?
No, it's good. I just see Peter. Really nice.
I bet so.
I think I feel really angry and betrayed by Spirit at the moment. I've been writing with Katrine, and I felt really guided after our talk. I felt really guided not to speak into all the ego things and just to keep like extending my hand, and yeah, I can feel I really feel betrayed.
By Spirit? What do you mean?
Yeah, it's like I feel like I've done something wrong. I feel like it's yeah, I definitely have a feeling this was not supposed to happen.
How can you say that something is not supposed to happen when it actually has happened? There must be some very strong idea of an outcome here.
And I'm aware that this feeling of being betrayed, I think that's what I kind of perceive, that she feels that I have betrayed her. So in a way, I can see it's the same thing.
Yeah, you've been very loving and inviting, and yeah. And you're welcome to join with us more specifically on messages too. Like we sometimes do that.
Yeah, the two messages that I wrote back to her felt really, really good. It felt so guided to write that. And I think that's kind of what hits me right now. It's like, was I wrong there? Was it like...
No. No, if you have that feeling, you know, that's it. But you probably had a very different outcome in mind. You had an expectation that she would come around and, you know, but
Yeah.
there's some stern, you know, energy in this. And I think this is not up to you. It's you have been inviting and loving, and it's not, you haven't betrayed anybody. You have done the opposite.
And she keeps saying, it's up to me. It's my decision. That's what she writes.
It sounds like you made a decision, right? Well, if it's your decision, you could just invite her for coffee. I will come over.
I've done that.
Yeah. So then tell her she must be making another decision there.
You must be mistaken about it being your decision.
I just don't know if I write that, you know, this is your decision. Am I speaking into the ego then, or?
Well, you could put her back to her. It seems like you decided you don't want to see me when I say I want to see you. You know, I mean, it's quite clear that it's her own decision, not yours. So I think you have some guilt or some weird mother guilt, you know, that you're still lingering in. This seems madness. Seems to be madness to take on something that is so clear that you know. So I don't know what you're crying about when you have been so clear. So it's just the madness of the specialness, or the madness of the role, the madness of the ego that is saying something else, you know. And if that's her experience, okay, that's what she's choosing. But
it's difficult for me to accept that she's choosing that.
Yeah, but maybe accepting that would help right now.
And I have a kind of a guilt of leaving her into this family who is just supporting her in what she's saying, you know. It's the same thing that I hear from some of the rest of the family.
Well, maybe it's time to speak.
Yeah. What did you say?
I said maybe it's time to speak to the rest of the family.
I think it is.
That's great.
I felt that.
But it's also, you can't, you know, when someone wants to be deceived and wants to see it in a completely distorted way, you can't really make people change their mind, you know. So it's more like, yes, if you guide it to speak to it, do it, and then let it go, you know. Not become super involved, you know.
No, I had the experience with my parents. I spoke into it and I spoke my truth. I kind of didn't care if they got it or not. Yeah, maybe I would like to join about I have a feeling that I want to write something back to her, but I really want to come from the right place. Not
Right.
speaking for ego, but also being clear.
Yeah, and also look at all your emotions, your belief in loss, and all of this.
And sacrifice, definitely.
Yeah, and betrayal.
Betrayal.
Around and probably feel like she betrayed you, or just
Yeah, it's actually up for me also around Johannes. Felt really strongly betrayed by him. Yeah.
Yeah, this is why, put your faith in God, not in humans.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're open if you want to draft something and join about it.
Yeah, thanks. That would be nice.
But it's also like to let go of drama, release all drama.
Yeah. To recognize that. Thank you.
Just a silly little rhyme in my head. No drama, no need to be the mama.
Yeah, how can anything touch us if our heart beats in the peace of God, Peace of God is our goal. How can anything be hurting? We're called above the battleground. Okay. Have a great heartbeat.
Yeah, see you all again soon.